whakarongo ki te tangi a te korimako. Kōrero flowing out the hook of force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds, kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā kona whakapiri mai ki te kaupapa tino whakahira hira whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o Taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
He puna wai ki runga, he puna wai ki raro. Ko te puna wai kōrero tēnei o Taringa. Rere atu nei ki a koutou ngai Taringa. Kua piri mai anō ki tā tātou kaupapa. Tēnei te whakamiha ake, tēnei te whakamānawa ake, tēnei te rāhiri. Nau mai hoki mai ngai Taringa. O tira koutou ngā tauhou. Ko Taringa tēnei te punua pāho. Pairawa atu.
Pairawa atu.
No, Aua kumara tērā mihi hoi anō.
Kumara.
Rere nei ngā mihi atu i konei te pokapū o Taringa, te wānanga o Aotearoa, ki te Awamutu bustling metropolis. I raro anō hoki i ngā manaakitanga a te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu. Tēnā koutou. Woo, and here we are, hoa mai, and MC Grammer's back in the house.
I've been missing you fellas there, hoa mai, tēnā koutou.
He's a grammar geek. Grammar geek.
Grammar geek.
I'm trying to leave that persona behind, e te whānau, but it just seems to follow me around.
I love it. I wish I was a grammar geek.
You know, e hoa, e tai, you've got a bit of a following. There's a bit of a following.
Ai.
I'll say.
Yeah.
E huku roa tō e hoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Well, you know, on that note, it's really all thanks to Taringa and the beautiful kaupapa that we've put together. And you know, e te whānau, it's amazing where te reo Māori can take you.
Kia ora.
When I first started with Taringa, actually, I never had the pleasure of meeting Erika or Te Puaheiri
Ai, kia ora.
in person. But
Yes.
hey, yeah, we had an awesome kaupapa that Praone put together, Praone and his beautiful wahine Ngāhuia. And it was the first opportunity that I got to meet Te Puaheiri and Erika in the same space. And e te whānau, if you think they're putting on a show just for Taringa, if you think they're only happy, joy, when you're tuning in, that's not the case at all, because they are real, the passion is real for te reo Māori, and it was a te reo Māori kaupapa that brought us together. Nō reira, mihi atu ana ki a kōrua.
Ai, tēnā koe, tēnā tātou.
Tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe tai. Wow, e tai, ka whakahokia ki a koe, kai a koe tā tātou kiwaha.
Ka pai, o hoi anō e tai mā. You know, I'm reflecting on our last session together, and Praone used the word muri aroha.
Muri aroha.
And it was when I brought up our last kiwaha, and I was feeling a bit aroha because it was my nan's birthday that particular day. And Praone used the word muri aroha. And really, you know, I do get like that sometimes because I think about our old people a lot. And the kiwaha that I want to share with you, I'm going to have to put in context there. So we had this kīia that passed away, and we decided to take her back to Rākau Nui.
Oh, yeah.
And it was really on the journey.
Kawhia.
Yeah, but back in Kawhia. And I had the opportunity to drive Nan and my Auntie Shirley. Now, Auntie Shirley Joseph, she was a he mara wahanui. And of course, Nan, her, and you may know Auntie Rovina.
Kia ora.
They're the battle axes of the whānau Barrett. So they're all related to the Barrett side. Anyway, we took this kīia back to Rākau Nui, and on our way, we decided to stop in at Kihi for a passion fruit ice cream, as you do, on the way from the tangi. And of course, our kīia started sharing some old stories. And the kiwaha that I'm going to give to you today was actually part of one of these stories that Auntie Shirley was sharing with me. So, i te traiwai, we tō mātou waka, he ngau tuara te mahi. So we started talking about those things that they reminisced about. And the kiwaha that she shared is this. Mōhio ngutu. Ne?
Mōhio ngutu.
Nice.
Ai, mōhio ngutu. And the context was they were having a conversation, you know, these kaumātua, and this young girl decided to butt into their conversation. Now, what happened was that this kōtiro didn't really have as much knowledge as the other kīia did, but she had an opinion.
Right.
And the opinion wasn't really welcomed. And so this kiwaha was used by Auntie Shirley really to describe that particular kōtiro. Yeah? And she goes, tērā kōtiro, mōhio ngutu.
Boy.
I'm going to ask Praone, e tai hea o whakaro, hea rānei tō whakapākehātanga I tā tātou kiwaha o te rā.
Well, you set the scene really in saying she had an opinion but didn't have the knowledge. So, yeah, he pai ki ai te kōrero mōhio ngutu. I'm trying to think of an expression in English that encapsulates
It's actually hard.
the same i roto I te reo. Mōhio ngutu. It's not know-it-all.
Oh, okay.
It's not a lip service. He rere ke tērā.
Aye.
It's sort of like your knowledge is only in your talk, but you really don't know anything.
I like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so she's not talking the talk. Talking the talk, but not walking the walk.
She doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, mōhio ngutu.
Yeah, she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And that's the kiwaha that Auntie Shirley shared.
Mōhio ngutu.
Mōhio ngutu.
Mōhio ngutu, and it's the way she delivered it, ne?
Tau wai, yeah, ko te whakahua, te tukunga o te kōrero, yeah.
Ai, te whakahua, te horopaki o te kōrero I puta ai tēnei kiwaha.
Mōhio ngutu.
You know, I can remember her honestly like it was yesterday. Taua ko tirora, mōhio ngutu. I cracked up because actually, besides her, I never really heard my nan use that kiwaha. So amongst all my interactions with kaumātua, and that's probably something, you know, that we need to be mindful of, is really setting the scene for our kaumātua to use the specific kiwaha. You know, it sort of like jogs their memory.
Yes.
So koinei tā tātou kiwaha mo te rā, e taima, mōhio ngutu.
Beautiful. Awa.
Mōhio ngutu.
Kei pēnā mātou I o kōrero I te rānei. Nō reira, kanoho puku mātou.
Ai!
Kei kīia mātou he, kei kīia mātou he mōhio ngutu.
Mōhio ngutu.
Well, I might get it wrong too, e te whānau nō reira. Ai, koinei tā tātou kiwaha mo tēnei rā, mōhio ngutu.
Mōhio ngutu.
Ai, tako inoi atu ki a koutou, you know. A te whakarotia te horopaki e tika ana kia puta tēnei kiwaha. So just for our Taringa listeners out there, you know, just think of the context where you think it may be appropriate to use this kiwaha. Probably not the best to say directly to someone, but maybe when you're talking about someone, ne?
Well, you know, if you say to somebody, you better be right.
Yeah.
You know, koina, you better be damn sure that you're using this. I whakamahi I te damn hoi anō. Kei te mohi o koutou. He pai tonu te kōrero hāngai tonu ki te kanohi. But you better be sure that you might be the mōhio ngutu.
Ai.
That's right.
Ai.
You know?
Yeah.
A hoi anō.
Ai, e tika ana tēnā. Oh, hoi anō e taima. So when we last met, just a little bit of a huritau around our Kupu 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 session. And really, it was all about kupu as opposed to our sentence structures. So we had a look at words that are more focused on location and how we use them in context.
Kia ora.
Nō reira, I kōrero tātou mo te kupu tātahi, mo te kupu uta,
Uta. Yeah.
pai, me te kupu tua. Now, just a reminder, remember,
Tua.
yeah, tua is on the other side of something solid. And I think Te Puaheiri had a real light bulb moment at our last session. And can you remember the word that really impacted you, Te Puaheiri?
I think it was, if I can recollect, tāwahi.
Yeah, it was tāwahi.
Te whakamahinga, yeah.
Ka pai.
And actually, since then, I've been running a program to undo my habits of kei ko atu, kei ko mai, kei tua, because they've been automatically coming out in the not so correct way of the description. So that's what you got to do, if you're doing those things. You got to run that program to get rid of those habits. So those have been really good
Pai tēnā
experience.
kōrero.
Yeah, he rawe tēnā kōrero e tai. Yes, and so tāwahi on the other side of something flat, so we know it's not just talking about overseas. And if I remember correctly, Praone had a good example for Erica that we could use tāwahi on the other side of the bay, I think it was.
Hey,
ora,
yeah.
We had a really awesome session. Te Puaheiri also touched on kei ko atu, kei ko mai, you know, kei reira. We had a good discussion around that. And of course, we finished off with rahaki and tahaki.
Kia ora.
You know, so just a little bit of a reminder, because that's really going to segue in nicely into the theme for today. So we are going to be sticking with kupu kupu kupu. And ko te kaupapa o tēnei rā e te whānau, ko te derived noun.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this.
Oh my gosh.
I don't even know what that is.
Let's have a bit of a kōrero about what a derived noun is.
Kia ora.
So a derived noun, yes, it is a naming word. Well, within the actual name itself, derived noun, we know that it's come from something else. So a derived noun is a naming word that takes its origin from a verb.
Okay.
Kia ora.
Nō reira, he tūingoa, he kupu ingoa, Engari, I timata mai roti te āhuatanga o te kupu mahi. So it started off as a verb, and then we modify it slightly so that it becomes a naming word. Yeah?
Kōrero te o whakaro.
And I suppose, when we think about it, we have different verbs. So we have active verbs and then we have passive verbs. Yeah. And of course, in order for it to become a passive verb, we add the passive ending. Well, the derived noun actually is treated in the same way. So a derived noun, ka tapirihi atu te kūmuri. So we put a suffix on it, a suffix ending, and then it changes from a verb into a noun.
Kia ora.
And we do it all the time, me te whānau.
Are these like the tangas?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Tangi, hanga.
Yeah.
Hanga. Ai.
Ka pai.
Tangi. Ready? Let's play that game. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. Ready.
Okay, hold on. I don't know what game. Okay, so I'm just going to observe.
Erica, go. Toru, wha,
Moi.
ngā.
Moenga.
Noho.
Ngā.
Ngā.
Noho
Nah,
ngā.
isn't it nohoanga?
It can be noho ngā and noho
Oh,
anga.
no hanga.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lucky we didn't say mōhio ngutu.
More.
Okay, I'm going to do it in English with you, Erica. Ready? Move.
Neke.
No, move.
Move.
Oh, yeah.
Can I play?
Yep. Okay, ready, Jarred? Move.
Mint.
Movement.
Movement.
Joia hoki.
Ka pai. Yes.
Okay.
Just so our listeners, so Ngai Taringa hears the derived nouns in both te reo and English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hoia no ka pai e tai.
And that's a really good one. Move, movement, complete, completion.
Completion.
So when we're talking about derived nouns in English, we already use these, within everyday language, and it's the same within te reo Māori. So when we're talking about derived nouns, there are a number of what I'm going to call noun suffixes. So these are the ends that we put on the on our kupu mahi to turn it into a derived noun. Some of the noun suffixes that we use, we have the ngā, the anga. Ka pai. So we've already had a good conversation about noho ngā and nohoanga. Yeah. We have the word hanga.
Ai.
We have the word, the suffix rather, kanga.
Kia ora.
Oh, tomokanga.
Ai.
Yeah. We have manga.
Manga. Ai. Kia ora.
We have ranga. And we have tanga, which is something that we've already used. And so really, there's a lot of confusion about which noun suffixes are appropriate for different types of verbs.
See.
And that, for our listeners, that's a topic of confusion. Which is it a hanga? Is it a tanga? Can it be both? And really, I don't think there is one set rule, because if I was able to come up with a rule, where there was clarity amongst all the derived nouns, I'll be a very rich man. But what we can do is we can have a look in the clues within our reo that would suggest that it would be a tanga or a hanga. So really, the derived nouns, they marry up very well with our passive suffixes. And I sort of want to... Actually, let's have a bit of a kōrero
Oh, yes. Ai marama no.
about the relationship between a passive suffix and a derived noun.
Okay.
So if we start with the word moe, ka pai. So moe obviously means to sleep.
Sleep.
Then we have the passive form, which is moea,
Moia. Ai.
ka pai, moea.
To sleep.
Yep, or to sleep with or to marry,
Oh,
ka
yeah.
pai. And then we have obviously the word moenga.
Bed.
Yeah. So for a lot of words where you can use the passive suffix a at the end of the word, you can use ngā to replace it when we're talking about a derived noun.
Nice.
So moe,
Nice.
moea, moenga. Yeah.
Patu, patua, patunga.
Patunga. Ai.
Let's have a look at the next word. So we have noho,
Noho.
ka pai.
Yep. Sit.
Yep. Nohoia.
Nohoia.
Yep.
To sit.
Yes. Nohoia. The derived noun that normally marries up with nohoia is nohoanga.
Hoanga. Ai.
Yeah.
Dwelling.
Yeah. Ka pai. Now we know the word kimi, kimihia.
Kimi here.
Get something. Yeah.
Kimihanga.
Kimihanga.
So what do we think the derived noun would be for kimihia?
Hanga.
Kimihanga. Aye.
Oh.
Ka pai.
And what does that word mean?
So what would kimihanga mean?
A catch.
Well, it can be something like a search.
The search, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Search party.
The
Yep.
catch,
Yeah. So let's throw it to Te Puahauri now. So we have whāriki. Yeah, whāriki.
Aye.
We have whāriki tia.
Whāriki.
So what would the derived noun be?
Would be, hei ko taua kōrero ko te tanga, te whāriki tanga.
Whārakitanga.
Aye, ko te whāriki tanga.
So what does that word mean?
Te whārikitanga. So when something... Oh, actually, that's a...
Tō, kei te horopaki, mena ko te whārikitanga o tēnei kaupapa aini pe koe tēnā ko te establishment.
Ai, ko te establishment.
O te whārikitanga. The lane of something.
Or the presentation of.
The presentation of,
Ai. Kei te horopaki kē tēnei.
Wow.
We had a good one, tomo.
Ai.
And I'll throw two praone now. So we have tomo, kīia, and what would our derived noun be, e tai?
Tomokanga.
Ai, ko te tomokanga. So we can see a really strong relationship between the passives and our derived nouns. Just a couple more.
Yeah.
Oh, now this will be a good one, Erica.
Okay.
So we have whakaatu ria.
Show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think the derived noun would be for whakaatu ria?
Whakāturanga.
Yeah.
Kia ora.
Ka pai, whakāturanga.
Pai kei tō kanuhi,
Exhibition.
Erica.
Pai koe, hai. Ki tau te hinatore. Pūaho pai nei.
And then our last one, and actually, while he's taking a sip of his drink, I'll throw it back to Praone.
No, throw to Erica. I want to hear her one. I know what you're going to ask.
So we have inu,
Drink.
then we have inumia.
Come on, Erica.
Drink your drink.
Yeah. And what's our derived noun?
Inumanga.
Tēnei mana.
Okay, never heard of that before.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, that's the thing, to be mindful of these kupu.
What's an inumanga though? Is that a drinking establishment?
Could be the drinking place.
The drinking place.
Inumanga wai o te iwi.
Ai.
Yeah. Oh, I think it was Moana and the Moa Hunters. I think it was in one of their waiata, ko tahi anō inumanga, something like that. And inumanga can be a sip of or a gulp of. So whera I te kupu a te puaheiri, it all depends on the context.
Okay.
But you know, just for our Taringa listeners out there, it's amazing when you know some rules and how to use derived nouns, how you can almost double your vocabulary
Ai.
right there and then.
Yes.
Yeah. So not only are they kupu mahi, but they can now be derived nouns or a kupu ingoa.
I think, Jarred, tō tētahi o nā me interesting ki au ko te tiaki.
Ai.
Me te tiakanga.
Ai.
Well, yeah. So there are some words out there that don't necessarily follow the rules of grammar. But because, you know, ko te reo Māori he reo ora, it's a living language, it's a changing language. And sometimes, yeah, there isn't necessarily that seamless fit. Aye. So tiakanga is a good word. And I actually think, you know, te reo Māori is based upon how it sounds.
Ai.
Yeah. I'll give an example. I mean, we like to use passives a lot because actually it sounds more complicated to the Māori ear. And so sometimes...
So that's why.
we like to confuse ourselves.
Ai.
But of course, some of the words actually have changed because they sound nicer. They sound more complicated. And I think tiakanga is a good example of that. Now, that's just me talking. Ka pai. So there's no research behind this, but, you know, ki tāku te tiro, he reka ki te taringa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reka ki te taringa.
He reka ake I te tiakitanga.
Well, I actually like the word tiakanga.
I taku whakahuatanga. Ai.
Tiakanga.
Aye.
Yeah.
So, e te whānau, this is really the basis of our kōrero. You know, when we're having a look at derived nouns, there are some clues, there are some linguistic clues already in our reo, which will help us choose that noun suffix there, whether it be, and you know, sometimes the preference can change from marae to marae.
Ai.
And I remember one of my mates, Dan Ranga, he was talking about the word, I think it was hanga, and it would change from marae to marae. One preference at marae may be kōrero tanga.
Ai.
And then just down the road, their preference may be kōrero hanga.
Hanga.
And then just down the road from that, you know, they're real tūhoe and they'll say kōrero hana.
Ai.
Yeah, and this is a preference from marae to marae. And you never know, e te iwi, there may be some iwi preferences out there. O hoi anō. These are some clues within our reo that can help us choose the right noun suffix. Ka pai tēnā?
Ai, pēra no ki wetahi whakamahinga I aku iwi o raro. Mō te āhuaranga, mōhioranga.
Ai.
Nau koina tō rātou whakamahinga.
Ai. And nō reira, he kaha ke te whakahuatia o tēnā momo kumuri, I roto I tō iwi e hei.
Ai, etahi wāhanga o taku iwi, ai.
Yeah, ka pai tēnā. And so, you know, Te Puaheiri is just speaking about an iwi preference that he can recognise within his own iwi.
Ai.
Ka pai? And of course, you may have a personal preference. Do you prefer kōrero here? Do you prefer kōrero tia? Then, of course, that would translate into your preference for kōrero tanga or kōrero hanga, whatever that may be.
It was only recently that I heard the use of ngaromanga, and I was like, oh yes,
Ai.
that was cool. It was i te kōrero i te kōrero tēnei kai kōrero mo te ngaromanga o tētahi o rātou ki te pō, so i te pō, so ki te pō, I know.
Wow,
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could ngaro mia ngaro.
Ai.
Yeah. Whakangaromia.
Whakangaromia.
Oh, okay.
Pewhia tēnei, kei te kitu au I o roro I nai nei.
Ai.
E kia au ka pai tēnei wānanga hei whakarongo mā ngai taringa. Whānau, whanaunga, whanaungatanga, whakawhanaungatanga.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
One word can be 4 different words. Wow.
I got all my sisters and me.
Waihoi konei, eh?
Yeah.
But he pai tēnei, because, you know, roto I aku mahi whakawhiti, koina te mea whakararu nei I au, hea te kōwhiringa tika mō tēnei horopaki. Whakawhanaunga.
Yeah.
Once again, hey, you know, tātou, hoki nei tāua ki tātou kōrero. It's all about context. Yeah, it's all about context. It's all about suitability. You know, so, and that was a good one. E tai, you know, whanaungatanga and whakawhanaungatanga. Yeah, within certain contexts, it's very clear that only one of those words should be used.
Ai.
Koina hoki.
Ai.
Kei te mohe o koutou e te iwi e mohe no ko te whānau's family. When you say whanaunga, it's not whānaunga.
Kia ora.
It's whanaunga.
Ai.
Ai.
So whanaunga is
Whanaunga.
someone who's kin to you,
Ai.
a relation. He whanaunga. Whanaungatanga is, in the context, you'd be talking about their relationship to you.
The ship. Ai.
Hea tana whanaungatanga ki a koe?
Ai, kia ora.
Oh, yeah.
Ai. Kei te tika tēnā.
What is his or her relationship
Yeah.
to you? And are those two derived, but whanaunga is its own kupu ne, Jarred?
Whanaunga is its own kupu, but I think it's taken its origins from whānau.
Yes.
Ai.
Hey.
But it's not a derived noun as such now because it's become a natural part of our language. It's its own kupu.
I think so. Ai.
Yeah, hence we can say whanaungatanga.
It has its own set context, ne?
Ah, yes.
Hey,
Yeah.
whanaungatanga, there's like almost two
Yeah.
suffixes on there.
Well, that's right.
And then you add a prefix. And whakawhanaungatanga, which is to
To create that whanaungatanga.
Yeah, create whanaungatanga. Usually by way of mihi.
Ai.
And in the wharenui could be the other one too. But I just think that's an interesting kupu in I te mei te kōr, I te wānanga koe tātou I te derived nouns.
Ai, pai.
He pai ki au tērā kupu, ke kite ai te tupu o te reo.
Te reo.
Ai.
Me
Yeah.
te āhua o tētahi kupu, te ahunga mai o tētahi kupu.
Kia ora.
Well, you know e te whānau, and we're just going to blame Paraone because he's taken it there. We're going to start having a more complex discussion around our derived nouns.
Okay.
So, you know, the relationship between the tia and the tanga, that's hopefully going to be helpful for our listeners who are perhaps have only just started their journey. Yeah. But for those of us that are more confident, and it's something that I speak about a lot at the kura reo, and I'm going to start speaking about especially tūmahi poro.
Kia ora.
Yeah. So let's have a look at derived nouns in the context of tūmahi whiti and tūmahi poro. So can you just remind us, hei, how te tūmahi whiti me te tūmahi poro?
E hoa, mo te whakahui mo te kōrero mo tēnei whakamārama I tēnei kupu, he hanga, hea tō kōrero, mōhi o ngutu ki tēnei kaupapa. I'm not too comfortable e tai in explaining the difference between a tūmahi whiti, a transitive verb, and a tūmahi poro, an intransitive verb.
Oh, no, that's all I want from you, tai. So a tūmahi whiti is a transitive verb. And what's a tūmahi poro?
An intransitive verb.
An intransitive verb.
Intransitive verb.
Ka pai.
In my limited understanding in which that verb has an effect on what has been spoken about.
Ai. So we're going to have a really good conversation now about our verbs, ka pai. We're going to have a look at a tūmahi whiti and a tūmahi poro, but within the context of a derived noun.
Kia ora.
Okay, so I want you to stay with me.
This is cool.
Okay.
Kia mau
It's
e
gonna
tiwi,
be
kia
hard.
mau.
Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Kia mau e tiwi.
And then we're going to tie in the a and or with that.
Yes.
Ka pai. So we're going to tie in the a and or with
Oh
that.
my gosh.
So we're going to specifically focus on a tūmahi poro, ka pai, which is an intransitive verb. Now, basically, a transitive verb is something that affects an object.
Kia ora.
Yeah. So let's, for example, the word patu. Patu, in most contexts, is a transitive verb because kei te patu au I te pōro.
Kia ora.
Yeah. So that verb is actually affecting an object. Whereas a tūmahi poro, the verb doesn't necessarily affect anything.
Okay.
So if we have a look at the word haere,
Kia ora.
ka pai. So the word haere, you can go two places, but the word haere doesn't actually affect an object, if that makes sense. Kei te marama tēnā ki a koutou?
Ai.
All right.
Now, if we have a look at the word haere itself, we know that it's a verb, and within the a and or categories, where do we think the word haere would sit?
Well, it's a mahi, isn't it?
Yeah, ai, he kupu mahi,
Kia ora.
So,
ka pai he tūmahi, so it would be sitting in an a. Now, there's an interesting transition that happens when we start talking about the word haerenga.
Kia ora.
Okay, when we start talking about the word haerenga, the majority of the time, now we know the word haere takes its origins from a kupu mahi. When we put the ngā on the end, we know it has now become a derived noun, so we're talking about a tūingoa here. But then there's also, it seems that for intransitive verbs, there's a transition from an a to an o. Yeah? So I could say, I pai tā mātou haere ki pōneke. So we had a good trip, yeah, to Wellington. But when I start talking about the word haerenga, the majority of the time, it sits within the or category. So I would say, I pai tō mātou haerenga ki pōneke.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Ka pai. Now, I know you're going to ask me why.
Yes. Why? Hea haai.
Well, let's have a look at another couple of examples. So we know the word hoki. Yeah. So hoki obviously is a verb, which means to return. But when we start using the word hokinga,
Hokinga.
ka pai, I tere tō mātou hokinga ki te kāinga. Yeah. However, when we start using the word whakahokinga, it transitions back. It transitions back to the R category. Yeah.
Ka pai.
But that's when we've added the prefix. And even the word hui. So we know hui means together. Hui doesn't necessarily affect another object. I was listening to one of the Tangata Whenua series, yeah, done by Barry Barclay in the 70s.
Aye.
And one of the kaumātua was talking about the kīngitanga, and this is how he phrased it. Tō rātou hui ngātu ki te kīngi, ka whakatakoto he takoha mā rātou.
Wow.
And that's the first time I had heard the word huinga used in the or category. Yeah, so 9 times out of 10, I pai tā mātou hui. But when this kaumātua was using huinga, ka pai, it switched to the or category. And I thought to myself, well, actually, that's still a tūmahi poro. Yeah, so it seems that there is a correlation when we start talking about tūmahi poro with derived nouns, that it sits within the or category.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you create a derived noun out of a tūmahi whiti, it remains in the R category.
Aye, the majority of the time it does.
Ah, yeah.
And there is one exception, but we'll have a kōrero about that later.
Ah, yeah, kia ora.
Yeah. So there are some common ones that we use all the time. Tō rātou haerenga, tō rātou hokinga, tō rātou huinga. Yeah, and it just happens that they are all intransitive verbs, tūmahi poro.
Wow.
Now, another one of my mates and I, we were having a kōrero, you know, another grammar geek, and he's more geeky than what I am. And we were trying to find a rationale as to why. And there were two, you know, e rua ngā kaupapa matu e puta mai ki a māua. Ai, ko te tūmahi poro, koe rā tētahi āhuatanga. A kā mutu, it seems as if when we transition into the derived nouns, it's no longer about the mahi.
Aye.
It actually focuses more on te wā, or the time. Yeah, and we all know that anything to do with time sits in the or category.
Yes, we all know.
So I'm not saying that this is a hard and fast rule, but it's an interesting change there, especially with derived nouns.
So can you give me an example?
Of what, Erika?
No te tainga mai o te Pākehā.
Yeah.
Te tainga mai o
Ai,
te
te
Pākehā.
tainga mai o te
Yeah.
waka. Ka pai e, hei? Ka
Te
rau e
oroko
tēnā.
hanga mai o te ao. I'm just thinking of examples I've seen before.
Okay.
Yeah, tō mātou tai ngātu ki te marae, you know, ka tū te pōwhiri.
Right. The time, yeah.
So when we have a look at that, and that's another great one, ne? The word tainga.
Because it's as if it becomes an event, nera.
Ai,
Oh, like, you know, I'm thinking of the time, the whakaaro of time and how they become events.
Oh, yes, an event.
And just thinking about titles of things, of events, and there's awe in them all the time. Yeah.
yeah. And you know, tō tātou hoa, he would also suggest that, yeah, there's more of a focus on time there. So it's just there's an interesting change when we start talking about
Aye.
derived nouns that actually start from a tūmahi poro, you know, from an intransitive verb. There seems to be a change. And why I'm bringing it up is that there are a lot of people who would say tā mātou haerenga,
Aye.
you know, and tā
okay.
mātou hokinga. And I understand the rationale why, because they go, well, actually haere and hoki, that's a verb. So that are and or, that would transition when we start using derived nouns. But actually, in some instances, that's not the case.
When is it the case?
Well, when we are talking about tūmahi poro.
Ah, yeah.
And the main four words are haerenga, hokinga, tainga, and I think huinga. And when you have a look at them, they're all intransitive verbs.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
We started with something quite easy, and now we've got
Yeah.
really hard.
This is great though, Tau, for myself, my own learning, because I remember writing up Once Upon a Time a kōrero, and Praone, it was actually Praone who corrected. He says, te hianga o Maui, or something like that.
Aye.
And I was like, why is that? I thought that's the mahi.
Well,
But we've never really landed on the explanation. I just thought, ka whaka ingoatia tētahi tūmahi, when we create a derived noun, it just becomes o. And that's how I've left it. Yeah.
well, now this is magic e te whānau, because I actually wanted to end on this note, and
Kia ora.
e te Puaheiri introduced a great segue into this.
Okay.
So sometimes derived nouns can be used as passives.
Wow.
So sometimes derived nouns can be used as passives. Now, if we go back to that example, you know, I kōrero tia e te Puaheiri, you know, te hianga o te ika?
Ai,
Was that right? Yeah, te hianga o te ika e Māui.
aiare.
Yeah, te hianga o te ika e Māui. So whenever we start putting an e into those sentences, it sort of like changes kaupapa.
And that derived noun comes from a tūmahi whiti.
Ka pai.
Ai.
Yeah.
Has an effect on the object.
So koe rā nō pēr tētahi mea, he pērā nō ne te patunga o te kuri e ia.
Ai.
Se e rā kupu
Yeah.
e rua te hi, te patu he tūmahi whiti e rā.
Yeah, and you know, something that particularly relates to me is te pāhuatanga o rangi aowhia e ngā hoia.
Ai.
Yeah. So when rangi aowhia was plundered by the soldiers. Now, when we have a look at that, by rights, everything about the sentence is passive. Yeah. But we've used te pāhuatanga. Now, we could have easily used te pāhuatia, but sometimes it sounds better to the Māori ear to actually stick with the derived noun, te pāhuatanga. But then it takes...
Oh, ka mutu hiori te ture mo taua, te ture wete reo mo taua rerenga.
Aye, because it's as if that derived noun is taking the place of its passive form.
Kia ora.
There.
The plundering of rangi aowhia
The plundering
by.
Ai, yeah.
There. Te whakawhitinga o te manga tāwhiri e te Pākehā.
Ai.
Yeah. So we know that whakawhitinga is a derived noun. It's a really interesting kōrero e te whānau.
This is amazing.
Yeah, and I
don't
say
know,
whakawhitianga.
Te whakawhitianga.
Te whakawhitianga, yep. Te whakahauanga,
Yeah, nice.
and that's a preference. Praone has his preference. Ka pai. When we have a look at that, you know, we're having a look at the derived noun. Now, 80% of the time, these are the rules. But then, of course, we have the exceptions. With the tūmahi poro, we have the exceptions when actually a derived noun is treated like it's a tūmahi hāngu
Ai.
or a passive verb. And that's when things start getting tricky.
Is that like the kupu rangona? Like, isn't that
Oh,
one of those noun things, but also a passive thing?
he rere ke te rangona.
Aye, yeah. So we have, well, in terms of passives, we have rongohia, and then we can have rangona.
Yeah.
Ka pai?
And rongongia.
Rongongia ka hana.
Rongongia, aye. But you know, e te whānau, if you're feeling a little bit confused like Erica is, we understand that.
More than a little bit.
So today's session really has to be to cater for our beginners, our middle, and our advanced speakers. So within our session, if you're just happy to stick with, okay, so it's tomo kīia, then that would probably suggest that the derived noun would be tomo kanga. Then that's fine for our steps. Ne? For those of us who are already au fait with tomo kīia, tomo kanga, inu mia, inu manga, well, actually, here's another step that we need to be mindful of in terms of the a-o and in terms of where sometimes our derived nouns can be used as passives.
Ka pai.
Now, on that note, e te whānau, I think I've blown everyone out of the water.
That's amazing. I'm like,
On that note, e te whānau, Jarred was saying to us before I think we might have enough kōrero for our content this morning. We might get to half an hour. E tamakai te titirau ki te wā, kua hipa no atu he pai no ngā kōrero. Ai. And e te whānau, just going on what Jarred was saying, kau e ngana ki te whakamara mai etahi mea ki te kore koe mōhio. You know, stay in the level you are in case someone calls you a mōhio ngutu.
Kei mōhio ngutu koe.
Engari, e hara koe te mōhio ngutu e tai, e mihi ake ana kia koe. Me tahuri ki tā tātou waiata hei tautoko i ngā kōrero, i ngā wānanga kua puta, ko te waiata o te wiki. Hea tā tātou waiata.
Whakarongo mai.
E ka hane
it's a banger.
I te whakarongo tanga atu.
That was a great waiata.
Ai, te whakarongo
mihi ake
tanga
ana.
atu e tātou. No,
And thank you too for all the messages for the Taringa track that's gone out. Taringa
Ai,
Are
e
Are. Oh man, that's pumping te rā waiata.
Hopefully our iwi radio stations are playing it.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
because they like to play Taringa.
Aye, and you
Lots.
know, there's more real content. That's all it's all about anyway.
Ana.
So it's real content.
Hoi anō e mihi ake ana e te iwi nui tonu. O tira e te hoa. E mihi
E
ana.
te hoa.
Aye.
E mihi ana.
Oh, tēnā koutou.
He rawe tā tātou wānanga. I think when we do our reflection on this one, we can do a bit of unpacking that I think Erica wanted to continue with.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
as...
it's up for us now.
I think I just need to go back to my level.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. I've already got my homework in my mind. I've already got my homework. It's up for us now to go away. And the next time we meet is to, you know, hopefully have some more understanding. I just want to say this spatial movement. So you've got this one kupu. Jarred brings another thing, and then you've got to change your spatial movement to see it from another idea. So going from tū mahi to a derived noun, and how the view from the mahi goes to the time. Yeah, so I'm buzzing out like that.
Yeah.
That's where I'm buzzing. It's spatial movement. You're recognising other spaces. And I'm talking about our kupu, our reo, our structures. If you're able to become flexible in changing your perception of the kupu and the use, it's liberating. Yeah.
Kia ora. And
Liberate.
Tū māti koe.
just to add on to that too, my own personal feedback and some feedback from e tai o ngai taringa, Jarred, is as te reo speakers, when we use the grammar terms, a lot of us shy away from them.
Ai.
Having our sessions with you have opened up a window and have invited our listeners and myself too, because it's not since I've been at whare wānanga that I've been in touch with the linguistic terms. Kei te mōhio koe.
Aye.
Engari he pai anō hoki ki au. Whakapakari hoki au. And I know that a lot of people, they work with formulas.
Kia ora.
And it's very useful for them to hear the grammatical terms and working out how te reo Māori works.
Yeah.
Ai.
So, e mihi ake ana I runga I tērā ahuatanga, and I don't think we should use that as an excuse. Tātou mā te hunga, mōhio pai ki te reo.
Aye.
Mā te aha I te mōhio, ko te whea te kupu mahi, ko te whea te...
Aye.
Ai.
E rā mea
E
katoa,
rā mea katoa,
kia kaua
ai.
tātou e noho hānene anō iho.
Tika.
Hoi anō, I runga I tērā, e mihi ake ana e tai, o tira tātou e te iwi, whakarongo tonu mai, yes, tū o mahi kainga, e mihi ake ana, hei ko nā maira.
Hei kona mai rā.
Hei kona.
Kia ora mai.
Bit whakaronga pi kari kari. Gather up close everybody buddy. Taringa, taringa, taringa. Yeah, tahuri mai ki au. Whakarongo ki te tangi a te kori mako. Korero flowing out the hook force. Kaupapa relevant, kaupapa out of bounds. Kaupapa exigent, kaupapa paramount. Nā ko nā whakapiri mai ki te. Kaupapa tino whakahira hira. Whakarongo pi kari kari mai. Hare hare mai, o taringa hare hare mai. We gotta gather up close everybody. Gather up close everybody. Kani move that body. Kani move that body.
Taringa, he mea tuku nā te wānanga o Aotearoa, ā, nā te māngai pāho me irirangi te motu I tautoko. To listen to more episodes, search for us on your podcast app and subscribe, or follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Taringa, whakarongo mai.